Most people struggle with vibrato for one simple reason. They don't understand what vibrato actually is. After playing the violin for more than 30 years, studying more than 800 books and teaching hundreds of students, I've identified the 7 secrets behind a beautiful, expressive vibrato. And today I'm going to walk you through each one so you can start developing a beautiful vibrato right now. Secret number 1. It's not about talent. A long time ago, when I was still studying the violin, I went to observe a masterclass for exceptionally gifted children. These kids were unbelievable. Teeny hands, teeny violin, and technique that seemed way beyond their age. And for the first half of the class, I felt myself sinking lower and lower in my seat. Because it was hard not to compare. I had already been studying the violin for years, longer than some of these children had even been alive. And yet, they were playing circles around me. Everything that had taken me months to understand, they picked up in minutes. I remember thinking, if they are this good now, what am I even doing? Am I just too old? But then, the teacher asked them to demonstrate their vibrato, and suddenly the mood changed. Their bowing was still good, intonation was solid, but the vibrato, it was stiff, tight, very mechanical, like this. And in that moment, something clicked for me. These kids who had all the raw talent in the world still had to learn the vibrato step by step, just like everybody else. They were on the same path I was on, they had just started walking it earlier. Secret number 2. Relaxing the vibrato hand is everything. The most common mistake is holding the violin too tight. The problem is that if you hold the violin too tight, and try to vibrate, it will not work. So how can you really relax your bow hand? Basically, you need to focus on your left hand. I will advise you to close your eyes and try to feel where it feels tense. Here it felt tense here in the thumb. And then trying to relax it completely, focusing really on this one point. Really just letting it go. Then a good exercise, it's just doing something like that to feel that everything is completely relaxed, like when you sleep. Then bringing back the hand here in the same relaxing state, putting your finger on the string, and keeping everything relaxed, start vibrating. But you will need secret number 3. Without the right posture, it can't work. If you are holding the violin sideways with the thumb and the index finger, automatically you will need to hold the violin tightly to hold it. Instead of holding the violin, actually, what you want to do is to leave the violin resting on our thumb and index finger. For that, you will do some sort of V like that, and just feel that the violin rests on it. I come with my hand from the bottom and I go up, and it brings the violin up. And my violin rests between the thumb and the index. What I'm not doing and what you should never do is pressing the thumb sideways of the index finger to try to hold the violin between those. I really just want to leave it rest. Now let's go to secret number 4. You need to learn the right movement instead of focusing on speed. For that, let's see exactly how vibrato is done. Let's look first at my vibrato. So basically, if you analyze what I just did, you will see that I did only one thing, and because of this one thing, a second thing happened. So the one thing I did is that I moved the whole arm back and forth. One mistake I see a lot is that people will mix some hand vibrato and some arm vibrato. I would really advise you to start with the arm vibrato, moving everything together like that. Not this, the whole thing. At the same time, the tip of my finger stays at the same point the whole time. But because my arm moves back and forth, my fingers extend when I go in this direction, and then when I come back, it becomes round again. Because of this movement, automatically what happens is that the note becomes lower and then higher. So let's look at that again very slowly. Now, the mistake that a lot of people do is that they try to imitate this movement of the finger by doing an active movement. They try to move the finger actively like that, okay? Or doing it from the wrist. This is not the movement. The movement is the whole arm, back and forth. The finger just follow by being relaxed, that's why we saw that before, and following the movement. For this work, of course, the tip of the finger needs to stay on the string at the same point, but at the same time being flexible enough so that the tip of the finger can roll onto the string like that. Here's an illustration made for you to understand that. At the start of the movement, you are touching the note here, producing a perfect G here. But then at the end, your finger is longer, stretched back, and because of that, it is a little bit lower. This difference is what creates the vibrato. Now the question is how to do that. So let's see that exactly. You need two basic exercises. From one side you need to learn this movement. From the other side you need to let your finger moving with the movement. So the first exercise is easy. You will put the finger on the string, but don't press the finger on the string. Just leave it in contact with the string very superficially. And then you will do a shifting movement, moving the whole arm the whole time back and forth. And then you want to train doing this movement always smaller and smaller. In the end, a vibrato will be actually something like that. And here, if you do this big movement and you notice that it doesn't work, it means you are holding the violin too strongly between the fingers. Then the second exercise is to learn to let the finger here staying relaxed and adapt to the movement. For that, let's start with the ring finger. You will hold the tip of it with your right hand. And then you will move, like before, your right arm back and forth, holding the tip of your finger into your right hand. And here the goal is to see that you are doing the right movement. My whole arm stays straight, but my finger go from this position to this position. Stretch position to rounded position. Stretch, rounded. Stretch, rounded. When you did that, you are ready for doing a silent vibrato. That means without the bow, you put your finger on the string. It's easier to start with the third finger, by the way, on the D string. And you will do the same movement as before with the whole arm, but instead of letting the finger shift, you will press it a little bit on the string so that the tip of the finger stay on the same point. But at the same time, you will let your finger roll, stretching back and forth during the movement. This is the most important thing. And then you will be ready for Secret 5, how to speed up vibrato, step by steps. And if you are an adult beginner and want to learn to play the violin beautifully, we are organizing a free violin masterclass on our platform. You will find the link under this video. So let me now show you the exercises we give our students in the Violinacademy. So first thing, you want to set up a metronome very slowly, something like tempo 45. And then you will start like here, doing only one movement every 2 beats. Here you can see that this note is showing up and this one showing down. That's for the 2 phases of the movement. Going in this direction and then going back. So I will show you the first exercise. Okay, it's very slow. The goal here is just to do a perfect movement. At the same time, we want to be sure that the movement is regular. That means it's not... Instead, it's a continuous movement without interruption. And like you can see, my arms stay perfectly straight the whole time. And now if you look at my finger, I will remove the other finger so you can see it. Is following the movement. That's all. Then we'll do a complete movement per beat, like that. But here, the same. The goal is not doing it fast, the goal is doing it perfectly. And perfectly here really means that you are doing the right movement on a regular basis, without any interruptions. And something super important, if you want to speed it up, what's important is really to check that you stay completely relaxed. Then I speed it up a little bit. And then I do 2 complete movements per beat. So now you think, I just need then to do always more and more. Yes and no. The most important thing is not to go faster than what I just showed with 2 complete movements per beat for a long time, okay? Until you can do it completely relaxed and perfectly. And then only after a few months where you do that, you should start increasing very slightly to 3 movements per beat. Then spend maybe 4 or 5 months like that, and then to 4. The problem is that most people are too impatient and increase the speed too fast. And then what happens is this. Some vibrato that is not a vibrato, and because of that, they are learning a wrong habit. So now let's see secret number 6, why your vibrato doesn't sound good. A very important principle is that for the vibrato to sound good, you need to find a good balance between the speed and the width of your vibrato. Basically, the width is how big your movement is, and the speed is the time interval between 2 movements. If I go faster, or slower, and wider, I mean, and with less width will be, it will be a teeny vibrato. And the thing is that if I doesn't combine them the right way, it will sound strange. If I do, or if I do, for example, you need to find the right proportionality. For that, just play 1 note and try varying the width. Until you find that it really sounds great. You could of course vary the speed, but that's way more difficult. That's the reason why I will focus on the medium slow speed and just vary the width. Generally, if you play slowly in a slow speed with a slow vibrato, you will need to make a bigger vibrato, yeah? And if you are playing faster, you will need to make it smaller. And the higher you play, the smaller it needs to be. If I do, that would sound very strange. Now, secret number 7, how not to sound like a robot. First, I need to say that when you start learning vibrato, this is good if it sounds like a robot. It means that you are doing a controlled vibrato. And because the biggest mistake most people do is doing a vibrato that's not controlled at all, it's actually good. But then there will come a time when you need to start varying it so that it sounds really great. For that, the best way to have a vibrato that sounds great is just to match what you do with the vibrato to what you are doing with your bow. That means that when I'm doing a crescendo, I will do the same with my vibrato, going faster at the same time. If I do the crescendo, the same. Instead of just doing, I will do fast and slow vibrato. And when I play a piece, I will vary the whole time with my bow. That means when it's more relaxed, I will vibrate slower, and when it starts becoming more tense, then I will vibrate faster. But don't forget, if you follow the steps, I'm sure you can learn it too.